but it should be travelling expenses. There should be no second homes. They go to a travel lodge once they got all the illegal immigrants out them. They go to a travel lodge. You shouldn't be able to claim expenses for toilet roll holder, blah de blah de blah. You should live on your wages. No second jobs, no consultations, nothing. Whatever wage you get, you should be able to live in that wage. If you can't live in that wage, you are living way beyond your means. And that is not right in this day and age when we have a crisis where people think this is the worst poverty Scotland's ever been in. And I'll imagine down south's no much better. But these people get paid for turning up to Parliament. They get expenses for whatever they claim. Who knows? But I'm going to look into this stuff a bit further. I'm going to get deeper and we'll see how it goes. So back to the NHS. I get carried away again there. Is it any wonder in Scotland and in England there is excess deaths? If people are waiting 8 to 12 hours in an ambulance, if they're waiting 24 hours plus, I heard of a woman who waited 38 hours. But anyhow, no wonder there's excess deaths. People go to the hospital because they need seen. People phone an ambulance because it's an emergency. It's not because they can't afford a taxi to the hospital. They phone an ambulance because, and I've experienced it with my own wife, where I've told her, drive me over. The doctor says when you go over, but sometimes your condition's that unstable, you need to go in an ambulance, because if anything happens between there and the hospital, you're shafted. So there needs to be more responsibility took with all this nonsense. What else? Yep, so briefly I'm going to talk about this. Recently, fucking cables. Recently, in East Ayrshire, in Stewarton, there's been a planning application put in for out Coennon Road an extra 350 houses. So this is the kind of plan they're going to try and go with. They're going to turn the Laneshaw Primary School into the new doctor's surgery. They're going to build a new primary school off land to go off the farmer as part of the deal, and they're going to build 350 houses, and they're going to move the boundary of Stewarton out to include these 350 houses. Here's what I think will happen. They'll build 350 houses and that's it. Whereas really, they should be focusing on building the primary school first and foremost, then build the new doctor's surgery, or transform Laneshaw Primary, whatever way you're going to transform it into doctor's surgery. And only when that's done, then proceed with the 350 houses. Stewarton's at a crisis. We actually get a text some mornings for the doctor's surgery saying emergency patients only. They're that overrun. The whole system is that overrun. That charge nurse I was speaking about, she was phoning people who were off, it was their days off, if they could come in, looking for 94 beds. How did it get that bad? So this is all things. I'll be getting my mobility scooter, I'll be out and about, I'll be going to the hospital. For the research I've done, the NHS Trust doesn't like you interviewing patients, but it's not illegal. So if a patient's out having a cigarette, whatever, I'm then entitled to go and interview them. And there's no smoking in NHS grounds. Who does the car park belong to? Because there's no drop off or pick up point for the combined assessment suite. So my wife came to get me one day. She had to bring my son in with her, and then my bags, everything else, my medical stuff, blah de blah, to help me to the car with it. And there we had a fine, a £30 fine. It wasn't a fine to pay the NHS. That maybe would have softened the blow a wee bit. It was a fine you're paying East Ayrshire Council. So if East Ayrshire Council owns the car parks, then it's no hospital grounds. So just go to the car park and have a smoke. Everybody, whether you like me, whether you hate me, whether you love me, everybody needs to put all differences aside and let's start working together to change things, because nothing's going to change if we all just sit back and moan and groan and fucking this and whatever. We all need to put an effort, and if that's even an effort of send me an email where there's a problem you think should be highlighted, then that helps. That's brilliant. I can go and see that, I can film it, I can take pictures, whatever. But we all need to do our bit, because fucking countries went to hell in a handbag. And you see the things in Ulster, and the reason, and that's another thing I'm sick of. We don't call Wales the south of England. We don't call Scotland the north of England. So why are we calling Ulster Northern Ireland, or the north of the island of Ireland? That wee country's got its own name, and that name is Ulster. Politicians need to start using it, journalists need to start using it, because until such times there's a united Ireland, it's called Ulster. That's don't be afraid to use these things. For what I've realised looking back the last 20 years, the government slowly but surely turned everybody into what I could only describe as soft. No, and it's time we all started realising us, the people, we're the people with the power. These people you see on the TV, these people you see with their suits and ties and their wee clipboards, they represent us. They are civil servants. They work for us. We all need to stand up, and if it means fighting side by side with your worst enemy for something that they're entitled to or somebody else is entitled to, then we must do that, because things are getting too hard. I've got a bit too much time in my hands to watch politics, and really it gets my blood pressure up. I shouldn't do it as much. But they were talking 2 months ago about giving local authorities money to disperse illegal migrants into the communities. You can't do that. We all need to take a stand in this and say enough's enough. Stop it. We could stop the Germans. We could stop the Nazis. How can we not stop a raft? And if they can't stop a raft, what else is coming into Britain that they can't stop? Time will tell. But it'd be good if everybody just grew a set of balls, no pun intended for anybody who wants balls or doesn't want balls or whatever the fucking way the world's went. But We need to all stand together, and that's the only way we'll bring change. Maybe take a while, but got to start somewhere, eh? So, and on things with the council, a wee bit of advice with anybody phoning and getting passed to this person and then passed back and then getting kicked out the switchboard and having to phone again and blah de blah de blah. If you're working 60 hours a week, you've not got time to be doing that. So the only way you get anywhere with the council is you ask for the housing officer, manager. If she can't resolve it, you ask for her manager, and keep climbing the tree till you get somebody who can make a change. The council do a lot of great things, excellent things, for people like me who maybe need a bit of help with this, a bit of help with that. They do a lot of good things. I'm going to point these things out as well. They don't just do stupid things, they do a lot of good things, a lot of really good things. But they need to do good things right across the board because that's their job. So I've went off away in a wee rant again. So I'll be talking a bit about my life. I don't know what would be the best word to describe it. I'll tell you a bit about my early life, what happened to me in my early life, which led, I'm not using it as an excuse, but it probably led to the way I turned out and done some things. Probably a lot of you will remember stuff that was in the paper and a load of nonsense. I'll be telling the true story about that. That was nothing to do with religion. On my mother's side of the family, they're all Celtic supporters, they all go to the Charlie and the Boys and things. We were raised in a mixed religion family. We weren't bigots. We weren't raised that way. And it doesn't matter if you're Protestant, or Catholic, or Muslim. If you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. If you're not nice to me, I'm not nice to you. And that's just the way I've always been. But now, I'm a volunteer freelance journalist. I need to remain impartial. If somebody does something, I don't know how I need to go about it. Legal routes or some other route, I don't know. The only thing that would bring back the old me is if anybody hurt my wife, my son, my dad, my sister. That's it. Then it's game on. It's back to being me, the old me. But slowly but surely, I'm turning into a better person. I'm dealing for the first time and admitting about remorse, because you don't admit remorse to anybody. You try and keep the tough guy act. Whatever. Is it? I don't know. You try and keep the image. The image isn't really you, but you've grown into. So, I'm talking a bit about that. Talk a bit about the papers, how it really started. Nothing to do with religion. So, this is just a wee short video anyhow, just to let you know what the channel's going to be about. There's going to be a bit of humour, there'll be a bit of tongue in cheek, especially when I start telling stories for growing up, etc. It will be a bit funny. But we'll also be dealing with serious things, like the NHS, the amount of people that are dying because they're not getting to hospital in time. The amount of people that are dying because they're discharged the next day because they need beds, and then they're going back to the hospital 2, 3, 4 days later, and it's too late. It's too late. These people have got mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, sisters. It is ridiculous in this day and age. Ridiculous. And if you've had any problems with the NHS, send me an email. My email address is on that computer thing. I don't really know how to work it yet. My wife's showing me, but I'll learn. This is on you. Even talking into a camera. Usually I seen a camera, I can itch my nose or something. Didn't recognise me. Or I exercise my right to remain silent. But this is on you. So I'll learn technology, I'll learn as I go. Like everything else. Hopefully as I go, I become a better person, a better person, a better person. I can help more people, because that's what I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to, helping people. Because when I was younger, I was no angel, but I wasn't the worst. I've got a lot of remorse for one thing that happened. I'll talk about that. I'll tell you the real story that happened. Basically that's it. It's just a wee welcome to the channel. So as my wife told me to say, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll bring to you real life media that matters to us, the people of the schemes, the people the mainstream media don't want to report on, the NHS who the Hamza says doing brilliant. It's all smoke and mirrors, bending the truths. That's all politicians do. So it doesn't matter how you vote in any election, you're going to get the same rubbish, and we're all still going to be skint, and we're all everything's just going to deteriorate. So as I would say to Smiling Rishi, good luck with the barges. Good luck with the barges. You wouldn't believe this was happening this day and age. But anyhow, thanks for listening. I think if I was an illegal immigrant and I was told I was going onto a barge, I would be disappearing. I'd be going underground in Britain. You would, wouldn't you, really? Surely it's a lot easier to stop these people in France. We've given France millions as well. Macron's an idiot. Look at the place it's burning. France used to be a very expensive place to go to, very romantic. It's a dump. He's all about, the United States of Europe. Never work. It will never work. I'm not even going to about it with him. I know one thing, if Le Pen came in and she was in charge, she would stop the boats from even leaving France. We need to stop the dinghies. We're an island. If much more people come onto it, we're going to tip over. It needs to stop. And people who are uploading videos to YouTube with illegal immigrants, hassling women, stealing, think they've got the God-given right to do whatever they like. They don't seem to be short of money because they've got better trainers than me, better jeans than me, better phones, they're all smoking. I can't afford cigarettes, but they can. So I think I'll leave it there. So like I say, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and we'll get this channel started and we'll see where it leads. So thank you very much everybody for listening. So have a good day, have a good evening, and always remember there's somebody worse off than yourself. Stay positive, stay strong, no matter what you're going through, you know you'll get through it. And when you look back in a couple of years' time, you'll see it wasn't even that big a problem really. But you will get through it, so keep fighting. Everybody. Real life media. One love. Out.